Hi, everybody. It's Dr. Francine from the Chiropractic Center, where we really care about you and your success. And today we have Dr. Chan back with us. And we thought we'd talk about some of the most common things we hear after the holidays, which are I need to detox. People feel bloated and overloaded after the holidays. And I hear personally often that people just want to take a pill. They want a magic pill that's going to
Mhm.
solve all of the challenges that they're experiencing from a health perspective. But the truth is, if you sometimes start to detox too quickly or do too much, wouldn't you agree, Dr. Irina, that
Mhm.
sometimes that can actually make things a little bit worse? And for those of you that haven't met Dr. Chan, she has been a wonderful addition to our team. She's a naturopathic doctor, and she has a special interest in gut health and in integrative cancer care, and also does acupuncture in her office now. So we want to welcome her back. Yay! Thank you for
Thank
being with us here
you.
today. So, are those some of the things that you hear when you're dealing with detox and post-holiday stress to the body?
Oftentimes people want like a quick fix when it comes to anything with regards to the health, but I always like to start with the foundations of health first, like diet, lifestyle, stress management, because no matter what you do, what you add in terms of supplements, if we don't have those in place, you can only get so far
Mhm.
when it comes to your health.
And you have to make sure that you're not doing more harm than good. And that's what we're going to talk about today is touch on, simple, easy things that you can start today, maybe in preparation if you wanted to take things a little step further and investigate a little bit more of a detox, but also things that you can do like right away today. Starting today after this video, there will be actionable steps that you can take that will really help to begin the process. Um,
Mhm.
I mean, short of the obvious, which I find is quite funny, when we were doing our video, our Christmas video for one of our Instagram posts, the
Mhm.
question was, we asked all the health providers in our office, what would be the one thing that you would suggest to stay healthy over the holidays? And Joanne, one of our massage therapists, had a very cute response. And hers was just say no. So,
Mhm.
I mean, that's the obvious, I guess, the first thing when we start looking at detox in the new year, just stopping what you were doing
Mhm.
would be the first step, right?
Yeah, I agree. Like I'm all for enjoying these things in moderation, like the sugar, alcohol, processed foods, especially around the holiday time when you just want to have a good time with family. So it's all good during like that time of year, but after the holidays when you've had a chance to reset and get back to your usual regular routines, it's a good time to cut back on those because sugar and processed foods and alcohol can do put a lot of stress on your kidneys, on your liver, and on your bowels. And so by just cutting them out or just reducing that amount, it can really do wonders when it comes to reducing inflammation in our bodies, balancing blood sugar levels out, and just giving the break that your body deserves.
Sometimes too, it's hard after the holidays. Our bodies almost become addicted to especially the sugar.
Yeah.
Um, you
Hmm.
know, so it's harder and it does require a little bit of effort to, either
Hmm.
clean out your pantry, get rid of some of those temptations that might be hanging around still in the house, or
Hmm.
take measures to really make a concerted effort that maybe you're going to have one day a week where you're going to have a little bit of a treat to give yourself a break after the holidays,
Hmm.
but really to make sure that we're doing a good job on a daily basis. I guess the next thing would be like looking at things like hydration, right?
Hmm. Yeah, if there's one thing you can start doing is to drink more water. Um, you'll be surprised to know that a lot of people don't actually drink enough water or don't know how much water they're drinking on a daily basis. Water is so important for flushing out the kidneys and flushing out the toxins within your body. And so you want to aim for 2 to 3 liters a day, more
Mhm.
so in the higher end of that range. If you are sweating excessively, if you're drinking a lot of cups of coffee, which can dehydrate you, or if you're outdoors and you're sweating a lot as well.
So how do you know if you're drinking too much water? That can certainly happen
Mhm.
as well. So some people think, oh, I'm just going to start drinking tons and tons of water to detox, I think the idea is good, but I think some of the newer information coming out now is saying that, yeah, maybe you don't want to overdo it on the water. Uh,
Mhm.
and things like adding like sea salt or something like that might be a good idea to kind of balance that so that you're actually retaining the water as opposed to just, peeing it
Mhm.
out. So what's the best approach when we're dealing with adding a little bit of sea salt, or making sure that you've got a good balance with hydration?
Mhm. Yeah, so there is such thing as drinking too much water. but it's quite hard to do actually in real life. Like you would have to drink more than 1 liter, a full liter of water in an hour to achieve that. And maybe at that point, your kidneys will have a hard time processing those extra fluids. And you'll also dilute your electrolytes, like you were
Yes.
talking about, to where the sodium and the salt drops to dangerous levels. So we want to be careful with that. Don't overdo it with the water. More than 1 liter in an hour is too much for your system. You could spread it out throughout the day. And then if you want to just balance out those electrolytes, especially again, if you're sweating a lot, if you're doing saunas a lot, especially if you're trying to promote detox, add a little pinch of salt in your water. You don't have to do it every time you drink water, but it just helps to allow your body to have a deeper level of hydration as well as replenish those electrolytes. But again, it's not for everyone. If you have enough salt in your diet, you want to be careful with adding more salt in your water. If you have high blood pressure, you also want to be careful with that as well.
Yeah, of course. And
Mhm.
everything you want to do just a little bit to make sure. But I think the cleaner you eat, if you're eating more processed foods and you're eating things like that, you're getting salt in those foods or prepared foods. But if you're making your own food and you're eating super clean, adding a little tiny bit of salt here and there is not necessarily a bad thing. But again, monitoring your blood pressure is always really important too. Um, so we've talked about water. How about gut and fiber and things like that? Because I kind of think of fiber, well, it might be a little too graphic for some people, but I think of fiber like a little toilet brush and it goes through your bowels and it helps to
Yeah.
kind of scrape things out. And
Mhm.
I apologize if that was a little too graphic for some people, but I think that's really important to kind of, really get in the process of cleaning your gut out. And fiber is a great way to do that. So
Mhm.
what would you suggest in that department?
Yeah, so fiber essentially, like I like to think of it again, like it's helping to sweep the waste from your digestive tract. And so we can incorporate more fiber in our diet by adding things like, flax seeds or chia seeds, nuts, any leafy green vegetable, beans,
Hmm.
lentils, all those are really good fiber sources. But some people are sensitive to fibers, like they can't tolerate too much fiber or certain types of fiber. So that's when you want to be a little bit careful. Um, you may want to start with one fiber at a time and see how your body tolerates it. Find the ones that agree with you. You might also want to go slow with the fiber intake, add them in slowly and increase it day by day to see how well you're tolerating it.
I think
If you
some
have,
people, oh,
Mhm,
sorry, I was just going to say, I think some people too, sometimes they have challenges with their gut too, where
mhm.
they start to add the fiber in, but if they're already struggling with constipation, that could be a little bit of a challenge. So how would somebody deal with that if they're having issues with constipation and adding fiber? That could block you up a little bit more, I think, for
Yeah.
some people.
So fiber is one part of the equation. If you have constipation, you want to
Mhm.
make sure you're drinking enough water because not enough water and too much fiber can, like you said, it can block your bowels even
Yeah,
more, and that can ferment in your bowels and create excess gas. So
that doesn't
that's
sound good.
making things worse for sure. So drink more water to help to bulk up that stool and allow it to flush properly. Um, and then if you're still feeling constipated, you can add in something like magnesium citrate to flush the bowels, move it along without causing excess bloating.
Oh, that's a good idea too. Uh,
Mhm,
Speaking about bowel movements too, sometimes after the holidays, some people are more prone to constipation, but other people might start to experience some diarrhea or looser stools.
mhm,
Um, and that could be a sign of that things are out of balance there too. So when you're talking about detox, you want to make sure that your stool is moving and it's moving at a good speed so that you're not reabsorbing some of those toxins you're working hard to get rid of. But on the other hand, if somebody might be experiencing more loose stool or diarrhea situation,
mhm.
they're going to have a hard time absorbing nutrients, which can also be, a detriment as well. So, how would you suggest somebody if that's kind of bowel situation you're in and you're inflamed or
Mhm.
you're really having loose stools? What would you suggest somebody does in that situation?
So I would start simple first. Like loose stools can happen if you are eating a lot of highly processed, rich, or fatty foods, and that can irritate the gut lining and cause inflammation. So just by limiting those processed foods can help give your digestive system a break and allow for the healing process to occur. Some people are extra sensitive to, high amounts of sugar and dairy and gluten products, especially if it's not part of their regular diet. And so cutting back on those can also help. Um, when you're eating so much during the holidays and you're not giving your digestive system a break, it can also make it hard for your body to produce enough digestive enzymes and stomach acid to break down those foods properly. And therefore, it can also lead to symptoms of malabsorption.
Mm.
And not to mention, the alcohol and the sugar that we have a lot during the holidays can also disrupt our good bacteria in the gut. And our good bacteria does so much for helping to maintain a good balance in your gut and helping to reduce inflammation. So there are a lot of factors that are involved
Mm.
that are kind of creating havoc within the gut. And so we want to address those first before we look into things like gut building and protocols and supplements.
Yeah. So, but if you're doing a good job in that department, but you're still a little bit inflamed, taking a probiotic could be helpful too, just to, speed up a little bit thickening the mucosal lining and helping with
Mhm.
that as well. Would it not be something that you'd suggest?
Yeah, I think taking probiotics would be a good way to quickly replenish those good bacteria. Um, it's some people are quite sensitive to probiotics, believe it or not. So certain probiotics are better for different people. Different strains work better for different purposes as well. So picking the right probiotic is key. Um,
And
but
that's
it's more,
where
mhm,
and that's where your expertise again, you have a special interest in gut health. So we keep
mhm,
circling around those and saying we're going to do it, and then we get sidetracked with another topic, but it's
mhm,
certainly something that's important to address. Looking at a probiotic at some point, but definitely there are lots of different probiotics available now. Different strains are available, so that's where your expertise would come in, and we can dive into that another time, I guess, too, right?
mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can definitely talk about that later in a gut specific webinar or
That's a
recording.
whole topic in itself, right?
Yeah, we might have to break it down too into different parts.
Oh, really? Okay, well, I'm game. I guess the another way to detox is through the skin too and lymphatic parts. So, simple things we can do there that we could start today. What do you think?
I think we can work on exercise and sweating. A lot of times we do exercises that, maybe is too light or too gentle. Although I definitely think it's beneficial when it comes to calming your nervous system. But I actually want to encourage more of the sweating, especially when it comes to detox. And so what we want to aim for is around 150 minutes of moderate to intense physical activity a day where you're actively sweating during that whole time. And so
100,
that can be, pardon?
150 minutes a day or a week?
Oh, sorry, 150 minutes a week.
A week. Okay, because
Yes.
I was thinking to myself, "Ooh, that's a lot."
Yeah,
Well,
sorry, maybe I.
no, that's okay.
Mhm,
Okay, so exercise for sure. And,
mhm,
I find this time of year in January, everybody thinks that they have to join a gym or they have to do things like, and I feel like sometimes that prevents people from taking the step, or they have to order equipment or they have to buy something. And I think keeping in mind that it doesn't have to be complicated. If you're not used to exercising, something as simple as dancing in your kitchen and turning on some music and just moving. Sometimes those are just easy. If it's really snowy outside and you're afraid to go outside because you might slip, just marching in place and finding some YouTube videos that resonate with you and
mhm,
starting the movement process. You don't need to necessarily wait and make sure that you have all this stuff in place. You could start today,
mhm.
something simple, and go from there and then build it out, right?
I agree. Definitely agree with you. Yeah, always start small and build towards that goal of yours. But starting is the hardest step, so make it more simple for you.
Easy and something that you can
Yes.
implement every day, right? So
Mhm,
I guess the last and the fifth final thing that we need to talk about, and this is, a big topic, would be the liver. We want to
mhm,
make sure that we get the liver supported so that it can detoxify and process all the stuff that we put in our bodies. So, what are some simple things that we could do to start the process with our liver? to make sure we do it safely and don't stress it too much that could cause issues.
So the liver has been working overtime during the holidays for you. And so the best thing you could do is to nourish your livers after the holidays. So there's a bunch of detox pathways that the liver goes through. Um, if we want to get scientific, there's methylation, there's acetylation, there is sulfation. All those different pathways help to support detox. And so some of the foods that we eat on a daily basis, like lemon or lemon water, anything acidic, dandelion root,
Mhm.
artichokes, your Brussels sprouts, onions, garlic, turmeric, all those things will help support these pathways to detox and function better. If we want to get specific, things like, active B vitamins, B12, B6, folate can support the methylation pathway. And then getting enough protein as well as having plenty of antioxidants can support your glutathione pathway. And so these foods, all of these foods are very supportive for the liver. You also want to consider, sleep because your liver is the most active at nighttime. And so
Ah.
that's also another reason why we want to prioritize sleep.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's interesting that there's so much going on in the liver, and there are so many ways that we need to support the liver. Um, how would somebody know? You're taking these little steps that we're talking about, simple steps that we were talking about today, the 5 simple steps that we can get going to start to detoxify it. How would somebody know if their liver wasn't working great? I mean, it's pretty obvious if your bowels are off, it's pretty
Mhm,
easy to see, oh, something's wrong there. But the
mhm.
liver, it's a little harder for people to really determine that if they have an issue there. So what would you suggest, or how would you determine if the liver needs extra support?
Yeah, so when the liver is sluggish or it's not functioning well to detox, the toxins will try to come out in other parts of the body, right? And so not only will there be localized digestive concerns like chronic bloating and constipation, abdominal pain, you might get more issues when it comes to your skin, like itchiness or rashes or breakouts. You might get more systemic effects like headache or fatigue or brain fog. Maybe you'll notice more allergies or new allergies coming on. So these are some signs and symptoms of your liver being backed up. You can also do, certain blood work to check as well. If your liver enzymes like ALT, AST, or bilirubin is off, then it could also show signs of liver stress.
Oh, I mean, that's really good to know. So that would be something that you would be looking at doing when somebody's coming in to see you, I guess. Those would be things that you would be questioning or
Yeah.
looking into for detox. And I mean, that could be the root of other symptoms, like you said, like allergies and itchy skin. I mean, we hear lots of different things like that from patients as well.
Mhm.
So we've talked about a lot of different pathways to detoxify. We've talked about the kidneys, we've talked about bowels, we've talked about skin and lymph and liver. I mean, those are a lot of the main pathways that our bodies would be getting rid of toxins on a regular basis. Is there anything else that you think that we need to add or talk about here? Or, how would somebody, if they're interested in taking it a step further, to kind of really do a deep detox and clean their body out so that they're taking a lot of stress off the cellular pathways? What more can they do, or how would they do that?
Yeah, so a lot of people usually at this time they seek out intensive, very deep detoxes, maybe parasite cleanse, detox kits, maybe a 12-day or a 24-day period of time. But I feel like it's not necessary for everyone. Our body actually has, the remarkable ability to detox on its own through proper nutrition, hydration, healthy habits. But again, if you start noticing those symptoms where, your body's showing signs of inability to detox properly through, you're having more skin issues, digestive issues, um, headaches and allergies, that's when it's best to see a naturopath or another health professional where they can really address your specific concerns and come
Mhm.
up with a plan, a detox plan, or additional things to support you in a very safe and effective manner.
Yeah. And I think that's good advice too, right? You always want to consult with somebody before you start something new, especially when you're dealing with different supplements and things like that. Because as we said, it could cause other challenges. So, Do you have anything else that you want to add at this point? We've covered a lot of different things.
Mhm. I think we did a good job at covering the basics and the foundations of how you can support detox on, a daily basis, especially after the holidays. Um, and then, yeah, whenever you do have additional questions or if you want something, a specific plan for how to detox based on your, individual needs, that's when you can reach out to me. I do free intro consults by phone or in person, and so you're welcome to schedule that as well.
That sounds great. And, thank you very much for your time today. I hope everybody found this very helpful. I hope that you're going to be able to implement a few things that Dr. Chan talked about today. I thank you for joining us. If you have any comments, please leave them below. We're happy to answer any questions that you might have. And I think that we've wrapped it up. Yes?
Yeah,
Yeah. Well,
hope
until
everyone enjoyed.
Yes. Well, thank you again, Dr. Chan. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. And until next time, let your healing begin and have a wonderful day.